The China supply chains are a golden opportunity. Sell what makes money quickly. $10 trillion in economic value underground resources. 33. North Korea mining strategy. Creating the miracle on the Taedong River. North Korea's Workers' Party can do a market economy. It is reported that mineral resources are widely distributed across approximately 80% of North Korea's territory, with the potential value of total reserves reaching 6,984 trillion won, which is about 24 times that of South Korea. The British magazine The Economist estimated that the economic value of North Korea's underground resources amounts to $10 trillion, reaching 20 times that of South Korea. The country possesses abundant reserves on a global scale, including 6 billion tons of magnesite ranking third in the world, 2 million tons of graphite ranking sixth, 5 billion tons of iron ore, and 250,000 tons of tungsten. Rare earth elements are concentrated in 4 mines, including Deokdal-ri in Cheongdan-gun, South Hwanghae Province, and Yongpo-ri in Jeongju-si, North Pyongan Province. The estimated amount of refined rare earth elements is approximately 48 million tons, ranking second in the world. The Korea Mineral Resources Corporation announced that an analysis of North Korean ore samples revealed excellent rare earth content. Rare earth elements are essential for high-tech industries such as superconductors, high-performance batteries, displays, and hybrid vehicles, and possess unique chemical, electrical, and magnetic properties for which no substitutes exist. Unlike the Western world, North Korea does not officially announce its mineral reserves, and the United States does not officially compile reserves of minerals other than magnesite due to a lack of reliability. We must coolly consider the fact that the average grade of North Korean rare earth oxides is very low at 0.5–0.6%, and that economic viability is questionable due to the large number of areas lacking data. In other words, even if reserves are large, economic feasibility considering mining and refining costs is the key, and this serves as the starting point for designing a mining strategy. Since 2016, the export of mineral resources such as iron, coal, and magnesite has been banned, leading to a sharp decline in North Korea's mineral production and exports starting in 2017. Currently, the mining industry is effectively frozen, and a denuclearization agreement implies the immediate attraction of investment for the world's largest undeveloped mineral resources. Strategic priorities for North Korea's mining industry must place more weight on the reality of profitability than on the myth of rare earths. The first pitfall of a mining strategy is prioritizing rare earth elements. South Korea's annual imports of rare earth elements and related products amount to approximately 200 billion won, representing a mere 0.4% of total mineral resource imports. In contrast, magnesite, graphite, iron ore, zinc, and gold possess much larger markets and immediate demand, giving them higher priority. However, the international landscape of 2025-2026 necessitates a revision of this assessment. As the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act (IRA) and the EU Critical Materials Management Act (CRMA) legislatively mandate the decoupling of critical mineral supply chains from China, the demand for battery and electric vehicle-related minerals such as rare earth elements, graphite, and lithium has grown incomparably compared to the past. Therefore, the correct priorities are immediate monetization minerals like magnesite, graphite, zinc, and gold in the short term, establishing rare earth refining capabilities in the medium term, and achieving complete vertical integration of battery materials in the long term. The short-term strategy 0 to 5 years after denuclearization is to restart operations by focusing on minerals that can be immediately monetized. 1. Magnesite is the most reliable mineral for immediate monetization. Magnesite reserves range from 4 to 6 billion tons, with the Ryongyang, Daehung, and Sangryong mines serving as key hubs, accounting for 50% of the world's total reserves. The greatest strength of magnesite is that it can be processed into magnesia clinker for refractory materials through sintering immediately after mining, enabling the production of high-value added products without the need for refining technology. Looking at market prices by application, raw ore, MgO 45% is priced at $30.60 per ton, light magnesia MgO 90% at $200-400 per ton, specialized magnesia MgO 97% at $501,000 per ton, and fused magnesia special refractory at $1,000-2,000 per ton, showing a 10 to 30-fold difference in added value depending on the processing stage. We will start with the export of raw ore immediately after denuclearization, but within 6 to 12 months, we will restart the sintering plant and switch to the export of clinker and light magnesia. Germany's RHI Magnesita, Japan's Kurosaki Harima, and Korea's POSCO Chemical, who wish to diversify their magnesia supply away from China under the EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, are ready to sign immediate long-term purchase agreements. 2. Graphite is a top priority demand item for the de-Chinization initiative created by the IRA and CIPS laws. South Korea possesses the world's fourth largest reserves of graphite. As a key raw material for lithium-ion battery anodes, China currently accounts for 85–90% of the global supply of graphite for batteries. U.S. IRA Section 30D grants tax credits only to batteries using key minerals mined and processed in allied nations. North Korea will immediately acquire this eligibility if it achieves diplomatic relations with the U.S. following denuclearization. Graphite mines in the Musan and Samjiyon areas of North Hwanghae Province will be immediately restarted. Initially, a phased vertical integration of processing will be pursued, proceeding in the order of natural graphite or refined spheroidal graphite battery anodes. South Korea's POSCO Future M, Germany's BASF, and Japan's Panasonic are immediate targets for joint ventures. 3. Zinc and lead are metals with the world's fourth largest reserves that are immediately available for export. Economically viable reserves of lead and zinc ore amount to 31. 7 million tons 10, 6 million tons of lead, and 1 million tons of zinc, making them among the largest in the world. The Gyeomdeok mine in South Hwanghae Province is the world's largest lead-zinc complex mine. Upon modernizing smelting facilities, it will be possible to immediately export concentrates to the international market. Demand is stable for zinc for anti-corrosion plating on steel and for lead for batteries and lead alloys. 4. Gold is the most immediate and high-density means of earning foreign currency. The gold mines in Unsan and Dayu-dong are among the largest on the Korean peninsula. Even if exported in the form of concentrates without smelting technology, it is possible to generate immediate high-value foreign currency. Gold has the highest value per volume, making exports possible even in the early stages when infrastructure is poor. In the current situation where international gold prices remain above $3,000 per ounce, restarting gold mines is the most powerful means of generating short-term foreign currency. 5. Mining legislation and administration must be reformed immediately. Immediately upon the Denuclearization Agreement, the Mining Act, the Foreign Investment in Mining Act, and environmental standards will be revised to international standards. The system for registering mining rights and resolving disputes will be designed based on International Center for Dispute Settlement (ICSID). Legal uncertainty for foreign investors will be eliminated by specifying a transparent royalty and tax system. Corporate tax exemptions for the first 5 years will be institutionalized, followed by a low tax rate of 10–15%. The midterm strategy 5–15 years focuses on building rare earth refining capabilities and transitioning to high-value added operations. 6. The actual reality will be identified first through precise rare earth resource surveys. Since North Korea's mineral resource reserves rely on estimates, verification must precede them. Within 5 years of denuclearization, precise exploration will be conducted jointly with the U.S. Geological Survey (USGS), the Korea Mine Reclamation Corporation (KMRC), and the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization (CSIRO) on 4 major rare earth mines, including Cheongdan, Jeongju, and Yongpo. Economically viable mining zones, distribution by grade, and optimal mining methods can only be determined once the results of precise exploration are available. Skipping this stage and executing an investment is the greatest risk. 7. Establish infrastructure for rare earth mining and primary separation. Mining begins with mines where economic viability has been confirmed through precise exploration. The primary processing steps for rare earth ore involve crushing, beneficiation, and flotation, which produce rare earth concentrate with a grade of 60–70%. Rare earth concentrate is currently traded in the global market at $1,000 to $5,000 per ton based on rare earth oxides REO. Environmental issues are the biggest risk in rare earth development. If mining is done incorrectly, it could result in a massively polluted city like Inner Mongolia in China. To prevent this, we adopt Brazil's eco-friendly mining model and accept third-party monitoring by international environmental auditing agencies. Compliance with environmental standards is a key condition for maintaining trust with Western investors. 8. Invest in rare earth separation and purification facilities to fill the void left by China's monopoly. The most technology-intensive and high-value-added stage is rare earth separation and purification. This process involves separating and extracting individual rare earth elements, such as neodymium, dysprosium, cerium, lanthanum, and thermium, from concentrates. Currently, China monopolizes 85–90% of global production in this technology. The separation and purification stage generates 10 to 50 times the added value compared to concentrates, with rare earth oxides REO fetching between $5,000 and $50,000 per ton. Currently, MP Materials, the largest rare earth separation and purification company in the U.S., Lynas of Australia, the largest rare earth company outside of China, and Solver of Germany are candidates for technology partners. As MP Materials is pursuing a national strategy to reduce its dependence on China, it is expected to be the most active partner in constructing facilities in North Korea. 9. We employ a concentrated investment strategy for key battery materials. In the midterm, we differentiate rare earth elements by product type to determine investment priorities. Magnet materials for neodymium iron boron. Permanent magnets are core components for electric vehicle motors and wind turbines, serving as essentials for the global transition to decarbonization. We will consolidate the entire process, from neodymium and dysprosium extraction to magnet alloy manufacturing in Rayson and Cheongju-si. Given that China currently holds an 85% share of neodymium iron boron magnet production, North Korea's positioning as a non-Chinese supplier holds decisive value in our strategy for a supply chain decoupling from China. The complete vertical integration of graphite anode materials establishes a complete value chain extending from mining to refining, spheroidization, coating, and battery cell supply. POSCO Futurem, SK-On, and Samsung SDI serve as underlying demand sources, and the company will be directly integrated into the U.S. battery supply chain under IRA Section 30D status. 10. Upgrading to magnesite dedicated magnesia and fully fusion magnesia. We will advance our products from short-term exports of raw ore and light magnesia to dedicated magnesia DBM and fully fusion magnesia FM in the medium term. Fully fusion magnesia is a top-tier refractory material produced by melting at high temperatures exceeding 2,800 C in an acro furnace, and it is a high-value added product worth $1,000 to $2,000 per ton. The high power required for fully fusion magnesia production is supplied from the Rason LNG power plant or small modular reactors in Cheongju or Hamhung. The linkage between energy and mining is the key factor in determining added value. The long-term strategy 2015-2030 is the complete vertical integration of battery materials and advanced materials. 11. Establish vertical integration from rare earth elements to permanent magnets, then to electric vehicle motors, and finally, to finished vehicle parts. The mining manufacturing linkage model that generates the highest added value in the world is vertical integration from raw ore to finished parts. The best-case scenario that North Korea can realize in 15 to 20 years is as follows. The North Korean segment of the Korean Peninsula's battery and electric vehicle supply chain will be completed, extending from the mining of rare earth mines in Hwanghae Province to the separation and refining of Rason, the production of neodymium iron boron magnet alloys, the assembly of electric vehicle motor cores in Cheongju, and finally the supply to automotive parts factories in Kaesong and Haeju. Once this vertical integration is complete, North Korea will transform from a simple raw material exporting nation into an exporter of advanced materials and components. 12. Establish a complete ecosystem of graphite battery materials, energy storage systems, ESS. We will build a complete battery material ecosystem that extends from graphite mining in North Hwanghae Province, spheroidal graphite refining in racing cathode material production, in Cheongdan ESS battery pack assembly, in Nampo supply of renewable energy systems for domestic and export markets. In particular, meeting the ESS demand for the Kangryung offshore wind farm with domestically produced batteries will form a self-reliant industrial cluster where the three sectors of energy, mining, and manufacturing mutually reinforce each other. 13. Complete the Rasan Cheongdan mining industry belt by establishing a core mineral complex. We will connect Rasan's raw ore import and refining hub and Russia-China mineral transshipment with Cheongdan's production of steel, magnesia, and graphite materials into a single integrated mining materials industrial belt. We will minimize logistics costs by laying a dedicated railway and pipeline for mineral transport over a 70-kilometer stretch between the two cities. This will complete the project as an East Coast materials export hub, exporting finished materials to Japan, Korea, and the United States via Cheongdan Port. It is reported that mineral resources are widely distributed across approximately 80% of North Korea's territory, with the potential value of total reserves reaching 6,984 trillion won, which is about 24 times that of South Korea. The British magazine The Economist estimated that the economic value of North Korea's underground resources amounts to $10 trillion, reaching 20 times that of South Korea. The country possesses abundant reserves on a global scale, including 6 billion tons of magnesite ranking third in the world, 2 million tons of graphite ranking sixth, 5 billion tons of iron ore, and 250,000 tons of tungsten. Rare earth elements are concentrated in 4 mines, including Deokdal-ri in Cheongdan-gun, South Hwanghae Province, and Yongpo-ri in Jeongju-si, North Pyongan Province. The estimated amount of refined rare earth elements is approximately 48 million tons, ranking second in the world. The Korea Mineral Resources Corporation announced that an analysis of North Korean ore samples revealed excellent rare earth content. Rare earth elements are essential for high-tech industries such as superconductors, high-performance batteries, displays, and hybrid vehicles, and possess unique chemical, electrical, and magnetic properties for which no substitutes exist. This outlines the financing plan necessary to realize North Korea's mining strategy. For short-term financing, mining infrastructure, specifically mining equipment, transportation facilities, and power supply, is explicitly included in the denuclearization economic compensation package, jointly supported by South Korea, the United States, and Japan. Stream contracts are the fastest method for raising private capital for mining development, structured so that foreign resource finance firms make advance payments and purchase gold and silver produced in the future at discounted prices. For medium-term financing, private FDI from joint mining enterprises is utilized resource development loans from the ADB and the World Bank are leveraged based on the premise that mining is a core driving force for national economic development and policy financing from the U.S. Development Finance Corporation, DFC, and the Japan International Cooperation Bank, JBEC, is utilized to establish a supply chain for key minerals that is less dependent on China. For long-term financing, 20–30% of mineral export revenue is allocated to a sovereign wealth fund for mining modernization to establish a self-sustaining reinvestment structure. These are measures for cooperation with neighboring countries necessary to realize North Korea's mining strategy. In cooperation with South Korea, the key elements are technical support for exploration and development from the Korea National Oil Corporation, KNOC, and the Korea Mine Reclamation Corporation, KMRC, and long-term purchase agreements for iron ore and magnesia from POSCO and Hyundai Steel. POSCO Future M's graphite and rare earth joint venture is the most strategic cooperation for acquiring IRA industrial resources assistance status. In cooperation with the United States, the most concrete items include the transfer of rare earth separation and refining technology from MP Materials, technical support for resource exploration from the USGS, and policy financing from the DFC to build a supply chain decoupling from China. The U.S. interests are clear. With reducing dependence on Chinese rare earths defined as a national security priority, the integration of North Korean rare earths and graphite into the U.S. supply chain is a strategic goal strongly desired by the Department of Defense, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Commerce. Cooperation with Australia enables technical collaboration with Lynas and joint iron ore development between Rio Tinto and BHP. As Australia is currently a key country in the supply chain for critical minerals de-China'd, cooperation with North Korea can be linked to strategic resource security initiatives at the Quad level. Cooperation with Norway involves the transfer of mining environmental technologies and sovereign wealth fund management know-how from Hera Mining and Iron Mountain. Let us examine the optimal mining positioning principles for North Korea in realizing its mining strategy. North Korea's optimal strategy in mining can be summarized by 3 principles. First, terminate raw ore exports as soon as possible and transition to processed ore exports. While raw ore exports are the fastest method, they yield the lowest returns. Legislate a virtuous cycle in which foreign currency is secured immediately through raw ore exports in the short term, and that profit is immediately reinvested in processing facilities. Second, maximize the demand for supply chains shifting away from China. In the current international climate, the value of North Korean mineral resources includes a geopolitical premium beyond pure volume. The U.S. and EU require North Korean minerals to fulfill their statutory obligations to diversify their supply chains away from China. Maximize the use of this demand as negotiating leverage to secure higher prices and more favorable technology transfer conditions. Third, we design an industrialization linkage where mining profits lead to investment in manufacturing. Rather than simply extracting and selling minerals, we simultaneously develop manufacturing clusters around the mines, connecting magnesia to refractory factories, graphite to battery anode factories, and rare earth elements to permanent magnet factories. This is the only path to avoid the resource curse that African resource nations have fallen into and to establish mining as the foundation for true industrialization. Next time, we will discuss North Korea's shipbuilding strategy. Thank you.